Hello everyone, I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009. Today I'm back playing Derail Valley. After I haven't played it for a little while, but there's been a update in the last couple of weeks, and I figured it was probably time to play it again. Yes, there are farm animals. And also, grain and stuff like that. So, I'm gonna check it out and see what's going on. But since it's been a little while since I played the game last, I'm not 100% sure what I was doing in the game. Alright. Undoubtedly, we probably need a mission. Alright, no, not that. Put that there. And we can go steel mill and goods factory, or we could do city southwest and machine factory. Let's see. Oh, actually, I don't think I'll be able to because I don't have the new. I haven't modified my custom difficulty since the update, so I won't be able to change the time or weather yet. The only things I changed with my custom difficulty was I increased the teleport distance and I allowed coupling with the remote control, but I don't use it. It's kind of weird. Alright, let's see. If we go into settings. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm thinking the move is going to be going to City Southwest. No, I don't want that. Alright, so, yeah. We're doing a run to City Southwest. But we're not just going to run to City Southwest, we're also going to throw in this logistics hall. Because why not? Alright, now. No. Put that away. Okay. Now that's in D6. See, this is all messed up. And now I need pocket watch. Okay, see, at least that's in the right spot. Okay. Now, we need engines in order to do this. Where's the other one? Just so we're on the same page. This is in G. Of course it is. Okay, at least they're all on one track. Alright, now, if I remember correctly, the last time that I played, I just unlocked the slug. And I just brought it down from the mountain. Oh, cool. Okay, so we've got a slug. We have 2 DE6s, a DH4, and a slug. Why is this like... Alright, I need to check... Okay, other way. I was doing it right the first time. Okay. Because it doesn't have me as being seated. Part of being able to play this game for hours is the fact that I do it from a seated position. Okay. A little too high. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, to add insult to injury, I'm gonna have to recalibrate my, I'm gonna have to set up my Guardian again in the future for my VR system, but I'm not overly worried about it at this exact moment. Settings, recenter. Nope. Alright. I don't know. Alright, what was I doing? Okay, breakers are good. Starter's good. Wait, did we release the brake? Yes, we did. Okay. We've released most of the brakes. Okay. Okay, we gotta fix that. Or we gotta pair the remote. Alright, now. Is there AI? No. That's just the sound, or that's just the ambient noise of the station. Alright, they still haven't fixed that. But then again, I haven't been active in the Discord lately, so maybe it hasn't even been reported that there's an issue with the the part that you actually grab when firing up the engine. Because see, it's not supposed to be inside of the switch, it's supposed to be outside the switch. But it's whatever. Alright. Cab light, dash light. As you probably know, there's a little bit more involved with starting up engines than this. Alright, there's a couple extra steps, but that's not part of the game. Okay, we gotta go back here. Alright, now, this could be interesting because I have the second DE6 is connected to the slug. So it's going to have a different temperature management than this DE6. Can you still get mods? I'm pretty sure you can. It's just, I think there's a different process to it. Like, they use a different mod manager thing now. I'm the wrong person to ask because I don't know it all that well. So let's hop off right here. This is another thing that's worth noting about comparing this game to real life. Don't do that. That's basically like the speed run and how to derail. But no, the thing that I'm talking about is this right here. The point for the switch is back by the throw arm. Oh, that's pretty cool. There's even, like, wild animals running around in the world. Now that's pretty cool. I knew about, like, the livestock and the things at the farm, but I wasn't aware that there were actually, like, animals running around. I didn't know they actually, like, did anything, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just saw a cat run across the tracks. Unfortunately, the tracks are not the best place to find animals, because they have a bad habit of getting hit by trains. And then it's kind of sad. We just hit a deer the other night. It's actually the first time hitting something with a train. But it happens more than you would like. Alright, now the question is, which way is that track lined? Not that one, that one. Okay, we're going right. As I've said time and time again, the fact that we have this little radio switch thing, or the switch remote, it actually does, there is something like that in real life, but it's not handheld like this. Slightly different. Although, in theory, since my actual radio that I use to talk to the engineer has a number pad on it, and I can technically submit like radio tones, in theory I can use the radio switches with my handheld radio, but there's only one place at my station that uses radio-controlled switches, and there aren't that many of them. Alright, so that's going through, or that's going to 1 through 5. Alright, we need to not... Yeah, let's just slam the brakes. That'll be fine. And let's just slam the independent. There's no way that can backfire on me. Alright. Now, what I should do is, since I have the longer teleport distance, I should just teleport over there and then see if it's lined, but we're gonna sort of play it realistic-ish, and we're not gonna use my God mode just yet. Oh, and it's not lined to the loading track. So it's set up just so that we can go in. But the deal is, these are hazmat cars, and we don't want to hit them going faster than 7, or let's just say 6. 7 will damage the cars, but 6 is fine. Although ideally, I prefer to go down to like 5-ish. But oddly enough, I think the last time that I streamed, I played Stormworks, not Derail Valley. And then I was thinking of getting back into Hitman, but other than one night where I started playing it again, I haven't really gotten back to it yet. Alright, we're down to 7. And the reason that I wanted to get back into playing Hitman again is because I recently beat the main campaign of Middle-earth: Shadow of War, and that's kind of like Hitman with the brutality dialed up to like 11. That game's pretty cool, but the controls kind of mess with you because I didn't rebind any of the controls on my computer. So, shift was like the stealth mode, and then space was to sprint. So if you press shift in like literally any other game, it sprints. But in that, it doesn't. Let's fully set the independent. Alright, grab that. Okay. Now, the good news is, this time at least, they were nice enough to put the brake wheel on, or the applied brake on this end. Yeah, I haven't played this for a little while. I'm doing pretty good, just been rather busy with work. Train is in fact life, after all. So I've been playing with trains at work. But I'm a conductor now, so that stands to reason. In fact, now I'm actually a licensed conductor. I was in training, but I'm not in training anymore. I found out the other day, apparently some of my coworkers have seen my videos. I didn't even know they knew I made videos. Oh well. Such is life. Alright, now we go back here. Open that up. We've got air. Alright. Oh, put that back. I should not hear the independent releasing way the hell back here. Alright, let's get up here on this platform. Alright. Oddly enough, I am not a remote control operator in real life, but it actually does work kinda like this if you are. It's actually kind of funny. Before I started working for the railroad, I didn't realize that these were a thing. And now I've actually seen them in person. Alright, so the plan for the next move, we gotta get to G1S. So we gotta get out of here, out of the D track, or out of the D yard, and we gotta throw the switch for G, and then it should be lined for the main. But it'll be anybody's guess. Now, the thing is, these are going to City Southwest, those are going to the machine factory. They are going to City Southwest, right? Yes, they are. It would be funny if I accepted the wrong one and I just ended up completely screwing myself and going to all the wrong places. Honestly, like 10 or 11 is a pretty good speed for moving in the yard like this. It all depends on your like timetable and what your actual like rules are. But you get the idea. Alright, so we gotta get to the G lot. So we gotta get out of here. And we throw the switch over there, and we go over there. And we're back here on the last car, so that we know when we're past the switch. Now, in real life, I would be talking to the engineer up in the cab on the radio and giving a car count until we're past the switch. So right now it might be 5 cars to clear. And also don't do that. Never do that. Like, the only time you should cross over the car is, well, when your job requires you to do it. And when you're completely stopped. Because the idea is, if you're standing right here in the middle, if this, like, jolts or anything like that, you're getting thrown into the rails. And that is a horrible, horrible place to be. Alright, in theory, we should have stopped a long time ago. Alright, release the train brake. Reverse. Alright, let's go over here. Line for the main, just like I said. It's currently lined for 2, but we need 1. Alright, now this one's a little bit bizarre. Like, sometimes the brakes are applied in, like, the most bizarre of places. So, let's find out. See, it's applied on the other end. But we're going to apply it on this end so it doesn't move. Otherwise, the slack's gonna... I'm gonna stop the engine, and then it's just the slack's gonna push out, and then it's gonna start running away, even though the handbrake's tied on this end. It's just gonna be a whole thing, and we're just not dealing with it. Alright, I need my EOT lantern. Good. Realistically, I should have hung the marker after I get connected to it, but it's whatever. Alright, let's open this. Because, like, what we do in real life is a little bit different. Like, what I mean is, when you leave cars unattended, you want to leave at least one angle cock open on the cars you leave behind, so that the cars go into an emergency brake application. So it's just an added thing to keep them there. It'll take, like, days to bleed off the air naturally. But you just want to make sure the cars go into emergency so the brakes get applied. But you also have to apply the handbrakes, and you have to apply enough handbrakes in order to keep the load in order to keep the train in place. But that's a whole nother thing to explain in painful detail. Now, where is my train? I mean, to be fair, it's only going 5 kilometers an hour. Alright. We're going to keep it under 10 for now. We're already to the point where we have, like, all but 2 licenses on this save. So, we're already at the point where the time bonus doesn't matter anymore. We're just playing it for the fun of it, honestly. But that one's good, and that one's good. You want to move slow in a yard anyway. But the important thing to note is that it takes longer to stop a train, especially one that's loaded. So those cars are all loaded. So we don't want to get too much above our safe coupling speed. because it's not going to slow down instantly. It's going to take some time to do it. It's kind of funny how, like, those tracks are pad tracks, but these ones aren't. Like, somebody made a conscious decision of, okay, these are still gravel, those are padded. It's just kind of funny to me. Although, truthfully, in real life, I haven't seen too many padded tracks. Honestly. See, that's about, like, a regular car length. It takes practice to actually start, like, judging car counts when you don't have, like, cars next to it to actually judge it. Except the funny thing is, tankers are relatively short, whereas auto racks like these are relatively long. Now, that being said, there are long tankers, and there are extremely long auto racks. Alright, grab that, already opened that. Now, in real life, what you would do is you would charge the brakes, make sure you're getting your air up to full working pressure before you knock off the handbrakes. But we're not exactly doing it correctly. As we always say on the Discord server, the FRA has no power in the Valley. We are most decidedly not in the US. Alright, we have air. So, the next thing is we're going to pull forward. Honestly, we messed up already because we did not have three-step protection when we did this. Basically, the engine was not secure when I was working back there. Big no-no. Don't do that. That's how you get killed. Or at the very least, that's how you get written up. But at worst, that's how you die. And what three-step protection is basically the engineer up in the controlling engine will center the reverser, put it in neutral, kill the generator field, so there's like a little switch on the control stand that basically says whether or not to send energy to the traction motors. That's the generator field switch, and fully apply the independent brake. That is three-step protection. And you have to do that anytime that you're working on a track that has an engine on it. Or that has a running manned engine on it. You have to get three-step protection to get into the foul of the track. Basically, there are a lot of rules on the railroad. But, as we always say, rules are written in blood. The reason we have the rules is because people died. Alright. We got our marker in place. We're lined back for the main. Now, in theory, what I should do is... let's go right here. Alright, now we gotta line the switches after here. Like, we're gonna hop off at the DG switch. Let's call it the G switch. Yeah, we're gonna hop off here at what we're going to henceforth call the G switch. And we're going to line it back for the E track. Because our head end is already lined to go out of the station, but we need to line the tracks to go through the station. So we're going to throw this switch right here. Now, with 3.5 engines and only one set of loaded cars, we should have no problems getting up the mountain. Like, with that much power up there, we could do, like, at least twice that weight. Alright. We don't do this anymore. And there's probably a reason for that. Alright. So our slug is alive and kicking. Our DH4 is doing good. Alright, now let's put this back. Okay, now we got that taken care of. Let's get into the cab, close up the doors, and let's blow this popsicle stand. Alright, there's one, there's two. Alright, we are good to go. And it's still funny, like, I want to say it was Heist that pointed out that there's only a light on the engineer's side. I guess to hell with the conductor. The engineer's the only one that needs to see. I don't have paperwork or anything to do. It's like, I don't have paperwork or anything I gotta keep track of for the train. To hell with the conductor. Alright. It's also kind of weird that, or it's interesting that I'm only a conductor, so I sit on that side of the cab, right? The real engines have an ammeter like this. But it's interesting because, like, most of them, or at least the wide-body engines, they show you the tractive effort. It's a whole thing. It's hard to explain. Alright, we are losing speed, so we're going to notch up. Still losing speed. Now, the thing is, on a mountain like this, you'd probably be pretty up there. but we also wouldn't have 4 engines running. Not for this light of a train. Alright, now there should be a tunnel. Alright, we need this thing. It's useless because it doesn't show us where we are, but at least it shows us what the area looks like. Now that's generally it's not like going all the way to idle would be a bad idea because we're going uphill with tonnage. It would just be it just wouldn't be good. We could stall going up here and then it's just a bad day. But the thing is, as you can see from those signs back there, the speed limit's generally 40 kilometers an hour going up here. So we want to stay under that. Otherwise, we're going to derail. Alright, so we're still seeing smoke coming from the DH4. So it hasn't overheated, shut off, stalled out, none of that stuff. So we're still doing for the most part. Had to get a drink there real quick. And now we're back at it. Funny thing is, I'll go back to work first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll be back to doing this in real life. Except I sit over there. I have a little clipboard. I know what all the cars are. I know where all the cars are. This is all the engineers' side of things. This is all beyond my pay grade. I'm easily like 10 years away from going to engine school. But the good thing about bringing more power than I could possibly need is that I'm not putting any serious strain on any of them. If you have fewer engines, you gotta push the ones that you've got even harder, and basically that means you're gonna burn through a lot of diesel. As you can see right there, we're doing fine. I don't actually know the exact wording of the whistle requirements, but as we already covered, I'm not an engineer. I might be one day, but it is not this day. That's far, far away. Alright, we should be right about there. Approximately. Cap heater. Cap fan. that's the cutoff. This should be like on the back wall. This should be over here. Right about there. There'll be like a little air knob. These will be generally here. There'll be like the acknowledge the cab signal button. There'll be the alerter. With the sanding system, there's actually like there's like 2 or 3 buttons. One activates the system, and then one differentiates between if you put the sand ahead of the wheels or behind the wheels. It's another one of those. It's a whole thing. And then this is where the cutout valve would be. Which it might be interesting if they had like a cutout system in Derail Valley, but I don't think that's coming. But who knows, maybe it is. It would be cool if we did have a cutout system, so then we could actually start to do distributed power properly. Because, like, if I slapped on a couple extra engines onto the back of this for this insanely light load, let's just slap on an engine consist in the back there and control it remotely with the remote. A bit redundant, but bear with me. If we slap extra engines back there and control them with the remote, it'll work, except if you connect the air brakes, the head end and tail end will just start fighting with each other. And then it's just not going to work. You'll basically not have air brakes other than the independent. So the solution is, if you're putting a second engine consist to help push, you just don't connect them to the air. You just control the throttle with the remote and then use the independent brake if you need to. But yeah. Alright. Let's start setting up the dynamic. Help put up the Christmas tree. Well, you have fun with that. Luckily, my Christmas tree thing is already set up. I have a palm tree. It has lights built into it, but since it's a palm tree, I just leave it put up year-round. I might actually put bulbs on it, but I'll get around to it one of these days. Alright, we just came around the corner. We're right about here. Now we're definitively right about there. We were there, now we're right there. So we're getting into the part where it's going to start going downhill, and then we're going to need the dynamic brakes. So, luckily, we have dynamic on this, dynamic on the DH4, dynamic on the slug, and the second DE6. So we have lots of dynamic brakes. We are going to have absolutely no problems whatsoever going down this mountain. In theory. I mean, this is more like a hill at this point, but that's a whole nother thing. Last week was freaking crazy. I was like busy all the time. It was like a nightmare. But the good news is, I get paid very well. And I don't do anything anyway, so it's not like I did anything else other than just hide in my apartment and watch YouTube videos. But it's weird being on call. We're doing like half the speed limit and going downhill. But it's whatever. You don't do anything fast with a train. That's just asking for bad things to happen. Now, the real question is, once we get around these turns, the real question is, where did I go last? If I went the way that I'm going, this switch will be lined to go to City Southwest. However, if I went up here, this switch will be lined to go into the steel mill. So, it's anyone's guess which way this is gonna go. I think the last thing I did was go into City Southwest. So I think it's lined to go that way, but I can't be certain until we get there. So it'll just be a fun little surprise for when we get around that corner. Let's see, we're coming up on the first switch, so that puts us right about there. Even though I've only got something like 150 hours in this, or it might be more than that, I don't remember. But if I know the territory in this game almost as well as I know the territory that I actually work on in real life. Because that's the thing about working for the railroad. Just being a licensed conductor or a licensed engineer isn't enough. You now have to get qualified to run a specific route. And I am qualified to run a specific route in real life. In fact, I'm trying to expand my qualifications so I can do more routes. But that's a whole process in and of itself. I want to expand the stations I can go to. On one hand, I want to do it in case I ever get laid off. On the other hand, I want to do it just so that I can see more railroad. Alright, so let's get that set up. Yeah, we have so many dynamic brakes right now that I probably don't need to get above notch 1. It's kind of insane how many engines I'm bringing for this very light load. It's only 60 going through here, but it's 50 when you get to this turn right here. So I'm probably hitting the dynamic a little bit harder than I need to. Alright, good news. We're going to City Southwest. And we're also going up one of the steepest freaking hills in the game, so let's put a couple more notches on that dynamic. See, 3.3%. That's insane. See, it's kind of funny because my background is with driving trucks, and then I came to the railroad. Like, when you're going downhill in a truck, you're not even breaking a sweat unless it's more than a 6% grade. However, when you're talking about a train, if it's more than 2% grade, it starts getting scary. It's pretty hard to die going uphill, but going downhill with something big and heavy like this is more or less terrifying. That's all stuff you pick up after you do it for a while. Actually, you pick it up when you first learn how to do it, but you don't fully appreciate it until you've got some time in. So we can throttle up, kind of. Alright, now the plan is that once we get to City Southwest, we're going to tie down the auto racks on that bridge just outside of town so we can shove the tankers into 3 inbound. Set it to idle. See, we barely even used an eighth of our fuel. Now, granted, that's with 3.5 engines, but we're still doing fine. Doing good on fuel, doing good on oil. Honestly, we could just roll the... we could just refuel while we're at City Southwest. And that is an option. But you look at this, we don't need to. Although, since I've only been streaming for an hour, so yeah, we got time. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna get this delivered. I should also get the auto racks delivered, and then we can refuel in the roundhouse at the machine factory, and that's probably where I'll end the stream. Alright, now we are at Oil Well Central. Lots of things that go boom in this place. Alright, now we gotta bring our speed down a little bit, because there's a 30k turn in here. It's like right here. It's that one, I think. So we gotta tone it down a little bit. And then we'll get to City Southwest. These types of engines, it's kind of weird because you have like a chair right here and a chair right here, and then you have like a bench right here. And it's awkward because like where the refrigerator is right here, this is where I put my tool bag. So you gotta like step over it to go out onto the head end, or to go out onto the nose. Alright, that should be good. Alright, we're coming into that turn right there. And then right on the other side, right around this corner, should be that first Y. And then there'll be a second Y, and then the bridge. And we're going to have to hop off on the bridge, specifically because we're going to tie down the auto racks on that bridge so that we can park the oil cars. What is wrong with this picture? Why is this like weird? I'm like, I like can't back up. I have like lots of space in my little office where I have my computer set up, but for whatever reason the game was not letting me like push back up against the sidewall. Alright, so there's the first Y, like we knew it was there. Alright. See what I mean? 30k. I mean, that way's only 40. But this area is mostly flat. Now this is actually my first time actually using the slug. Like, I brought it down the mountain, but I hadn't actually used it yet. So this is the first time actually hooking it up to an engine and pulling with it. So that's going pretty well, actually. Alright, so we're coming around that one. So now we're right about there. And we go over here to kind of get a feel for what it looks like. And is that the... I think I already passed the Y. So that should just be the city. Oh no, there's the Y, then the city. Oh, okay. The funny thing is, you go out here on the nose, the high and low beams are both right there. These down here are the ditch lights. These blink whenever you activate the bell, pretty much. So the high beams and low beams, they're emitted from they're from the same place. It's just they angle it up. Now, you didn't really miss a whole lot. We're getting back to City Southwest now. I'm planning on tying down the auto racks at this little bridge over here. So, we're going to get our little remote, put that there. So yeah, these things down here aren't headlights. These are your ditch lights. They blink when you, whenever you use the bell. Do one of the new animal jobs. If I stop at the farm on the way back, I'll have to look into it. Okay, that first switch is good. Alright, now we are going to put the auto racks right here on this bridge. Alright. Because as you remember, the auto racks are going to City Southwest. Or no, the auto racks are going to the machine factory, whereas the diesel tanks are going here to City Southwest. Alright. And we barely had to use half the, or we barely had to use a third of the train brake. Alright, so we got 2 cars tied right there. Now let's close this angle cock. Oh, no, we gotta undo the thing too. Alright, put that there. Alright. Yep. Just like it's supposed to, that cut of cars dumped. So there's no air in any of those cars. And all of the brakes are now applied. So we gotta go over here to this switch right here. And how is that a thing? Okay, that switch was wrong. We would have run through that switch. It was kind of funny that back when I first heard about the realism mod that you could get, it was odd to me that running through a switch caused damage. But I didn't work for the railroad then. Now I know exactly how running through a switch damages a train. I also know how it derails a train. It's not guaranteed to happen when you first run through it. However, if you try to back up, then it absolutely will happen. But it is possible if you're going slow enough to basically jump over a switch and then it'll derail immediately. And it's crazy when it happens because there's very little warning and not a whole lot you can do to prevent it. Other than keeping an eye out for a couple of like the obvious things that do it, there's not much you can do. All right. Okay, we're lined into the C track. That's lined. All right, now it should be. Oh wait, no, not that one. C3. All right. So 1 isn't labeled, 2 and 3. 3 is empty. Going left, going right, and going left. Okay, so every switch is set up to go into the yard. Alright, now if you remember correctly, the marker is currently on the back of the other set of cars. And I don't have a second EOT lantern. Although I could get a second one when we get up to the machine factory. But it's not really a priority, and thank you. Although maybe it should be a priority. since we have like all of this like inventory space, I could easily cram another EOT lantern in there. We're allowed to have like 3 of them. Might as well grab another one, because why the hell not, you know? Alright. Now we're physically here, so... And the engine's all the way over there, so blowing for the crossing would be, like, pointless. But that's a whole nother thing. I'm curious. Oh no, they don't do anything yet. Alright, now we need to stop our first car right here, or past this sign. We're going to treat this sign as our clearance point. The clearance point would be a little farther in than that, but we don't need, like, perfect realism in this game. Alright, we're going 8 kilometers an hour and falling. And it's only 7 cars. Alright. 3 cars. Alright. We're going slow enough that we might actually be able to stop it with just the independent. Alright. Let's tie some handbrakes. The game only says you need 1, but I'm going to do 2. And if you have to tie it down on a mountain, you're going to need way more than 2. The game even has that. But the thing is... Okay, close that. It's like the game even has that much detail. But the good news is the yards are mostly flat. Alright. Now, we should accompany the engine all the way from point A to point B, but we're going to do the wrong thing, and we're going to go over here and turn this job in first. And it won't even be out of the yard yet before we get paid. So we're good. How? I went extremely slow coming over here, and I still got the bonus. Alright. It's gonna be one of those days. Like, I had no speed coming out here, and we still beat the time. No, put that down. Alright. Now, we go back over here. Don't stand in the middle of the tracks because that's a good way to get run over. And we're gonna get the engines past this crossing, and then we're gonna shove back, couple up with the rest of the train, and keep this party rolling all the way up until the machine factory. Which, now that the only thing we got left is a bunch of auto racks, we're not worried about it at all. We got truthfully, even the full ones aren't that heavy. Like, it seems fine right here, but it gets so much worse around the corner. Now, all we've got left are engines and a slug, so independent brake will do. Okay. All right. We are lined back. Now, in theory, the correct thing to do is to blow the whistle for the crossing, but we're being terrible and violating all kinds of federal laws. But that's the great thing about doing this in a video game. You don't have to stress the little details. As far as like the stream goes, you can kind of see like what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and at the same time I can also tell you about like why am I doing it. And then, like, aside from the fact that this uses a different type of equipment compared to what I see in real life, this is still basically my exact job. This is what I do every single day. But it looks a little bit different, if that makes sense. Like here in the US, we have AAR coupler knuckles. This is a chain and buffer system. Our engines don't look like this. Our cars look different. But as far as actually doing the job, this is what it looks like. Granted, Derail Valley is basically what it would be like if every single job, or if it was only local jobs, like the whole picking up cars, putting them on one track, or taking cars from one track to another track, moving them from station to station. That is exactly what we do on the railroad. Like, this is how this works. No, not that. Okay. Now, in real life, what would happen is, since we have a marker on the end, we would already know if there's air at the end of the train. But since this game doesn't have an EOTD yet, supposedly it's coming, but that's farther down the road. Since it doesn't have a radio-controlled end-of-train device, we just have the marker lantern. We are going to do one sort of right-ish thing, and we're going to walk back and make sure that we have air. And we're also going to make sure that nobody ran off with our marker. But that's under the assumption that we're not alone in the valley, and we're not some nigh immortal demigod that has some unhealthy obsession with running trains. As you can see, we have air at the back of the train, and we still have our marker. So, let's get this party moving. And then we can put this away. Alright, good to go. Now we climb up into the head engine, and we get out of here. Good. And good. Now, you're not supposed to just leave the engine here blocking a crossing. Like, don't do that. So, if we were doing this in real life, we would have actually stopped or we would have tied down the cars well past on the other side of that bridge. And the reason being, that way when we recouple our engines, we're still not blocking the crossing. But since, even though the sounds will tell you otherwise, we're the only ones here. The ambient noises kind of make it feel like there's somebody living in the valley, but we're the only ones here. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, you don't actually have to press the button, you just touch it and it works. That came out wrong. Oh, it's in there now. Alright, but we gotta idle because we're still dealing with a 30-kilometer-an-hour zone right in that turn. And then we're going up the mountain, or we're going up a mountain. Alright, we are out. There are any tunnels until you get up to Iron Mine West. And that's clear on the other side of the thing. That's clear on the other side of the machine factory. So we're not worried about it. And the good news is, since my DE6s are facing opposite directions, I don't even have to spin this around. I can just run from the other end. So we can pull in through the track that goes up into the receiving area. Pull clear out the other end, shove back, pull into the roundhouse, and we're good. Refuel, refit, and get ready to grab our next job. Let's see. It's been an hour and a half. I hear at least 2 hours is the magic number for streaming. You gotta have at least 2 to give like a chance of having viewers. Or at least that's what all of the guides and like help things tell you to do. They tell you want 2 hours. You want at least 2 hours. Oh, see, it's doing it again. I can't. Well, now I'm good. I'm flush up against the wall. But there's like sometimes you'll get like hung up in the middle of the floor and you can't do anything. That is good to know. I still don't think my streams are all that exciting, but at least now I can tell more stories about how we do this in real life. Like what the railroad here in the US looks like. So it's just like when it's just like when I play American Truck Sim. I can tell you stories from real life, from actually doing it. So it's a little bit different. Granted, I haven't been doing it for very long. I've been a solo marked up conductor for 2.5 months now. So I'm just getting started in the railroad. But it's interesting because I've still gotten to see and do a lot of things. Alright, so this way goes up towards... It bypasses the machine factory and takes you straight to Iron Mine West. This goes into the machine factory. Now, normally what I try to do in the machine factory is I try to have it lined to go towards the C track. Well, we're not going to the C track, we're going to the P track. So, that's a thing. But the point is, I try to have it lined to go that way. You have the C track, and then you have the B track. Do I have that right? Because the D is the military base, and then A is the passenger. I don't know. It's been a minute since I played this last. So my memory kind of sucks at the moment. We're fighting with real trains, so my knowledge of the imaginary ones is kind of slipping. Why do I still have the... Oh, because we're going uphill. Why is the... What? How the hell did that happen? No. Okay, so that's a thing, apparently. Okay, so just to explain what the hell was just happening, I've been using the remote to control the DH4. Easy enough. We control the DH4 with the remote. I've been going back and forth in City Southwest, but then I changed directions manually from the cab of the DE6. So the lights were automatically switching from the remote control. So when I turned the remote control on, it reverted the lights back to how the DH4 is currently set up. Okay. You know what? I'll just take responsibility for that one. That's my fault. We're just gonna do that. Alright. So, we gotta go to B1S. In theory, that should be this track right here. Now, the good news is, the track's empty. It's not always like that. Yes, that's one of the commands that people viewing can enter. I should still have a little thing in the lower right corner about the other ones, but those ones I have to add the count myself. All you can do is read them. This is the only count that viewers can modify or alter. Alright, now, since it's closer to the terminal, I am going to use this sign as my clearance point. I should probably make sure that we're lined out. We are not. In fact, we are very not lined out. Let's just run through every switch in the yard. Make the MOW guys hate us. Oh well. They didn't have anything to do on a Friday night anyway. The guys who actually work on the tracks generally work during the week, but they have more freedom to do things on the weekends because they're not blocking traffic as much. Now these are empty, so stopping with the independent is nothing. In theory, it'll flat spot the wheels, but you have to do it a lot to flat spot the wheels. Okay, so we got... That's good. That's good. That's open. And just so you know, that is actually what we really do. You don't break the hoses apart yourself. You let them quick release on their own, because that hose is still pressurized. So if you try to like break it apart by hand, it's gonna like snap up and hit you in the face. And as you can imagine, that would hurt if you did it. Okay, now we did not double check this switch, so we were going to run through that one. Okay, let's go put this away. And we got the bonus on that one! We're doing good. Now that's wild. Alright. Alright, now that's lined. Alright, now the next switch that we need is this one right here. We flip that. And alright, that's going to the passenger tracks. So we're good, because that loops around and goes back into the military base, and we're not going there just yet. We could, but that's not what we're doing right now. The current game plan is we're going to go over to the passenger track, or over past the passenger terminal. We're going to go to the roundhouse and we're going to refuel. So actually, I need to be standing over here because this is the side where the switch is. There's no point in standing on the other side of the track because that's not where the switch is located. It would just be stupid to stand there. Yeah, we're gonna blow for the crossing now after we've already left the crossing in the dust. Okay. That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's intentional. Like, you can teleport and then you'll just kind of like sit there on like the top step. I'm inside of the engine. Okay. I am the engine now. And just like in real life, we worked until the sun started coming back out. What speed limit when crossing through a passenger terminal? I mean, to be fair, we're not going directly into the passenger terminal. We're going past it. Radio. Because that first switch is going to be wrong. Oh, that's where the water spout is. I don't know why that was lined that way. Like, that's not where we are. And we totally did not blow for that crossing. Alright. Now that's lined, that's lined. We're gonna hop off. Okay. Well, at least that's some good news. We're lined for the fuel pad. Turntable's good. Alright, let's park this thing, get it refueled, and we are good. And then we'll also go over and pay our environmental fees. See, the 060 is pretty cool, but I'm terrible at running Steam. Like, I am not efficient at it at all. Alright, now we get in here. Now, realistically, you should go extremely slow anytime you're in like a engine, like a roundhouse like this. You'd go extremely slow. But look at it on the plus side. There's 4 fuel ports on this engine, and there's only 2 diesel tanks. But that's a bit of a hike, so we're going to shove this in here a little bit deeper. Alright. There's one. Okay. There's one. It's pretty handy that you don't have to reset the breakers anymore. Alright, all handbrakes are applied. You don't have to apply all the handbrakes, but, well, I mean, sometimes you do. Like, for my specific station, if you go into the engine house, every handbrake on every engine must be applied. That's going to be annoying as all hell, but it's whatever. wonder if they fixed it to where the slug can actually take damage now. Oh, he barely used any of the fuel in the DH4. And it costs $25,000 to refill 4 engines, or 3.5 engines. Okay. Now we're going to cross over here. Yeah, that was totally 10 feet. But yeah, I like the 060. It's just I'm not very good at using it, you know? And just like in real life, the station's miles away. Okay, now we pay fee. That's weird. Is that the only one I don't have? Oh, and I've only got 155,000, so we're not getting that anytime soon. But we are going to go to the shop, which should be, yep, within sight distance of the passenger station. And I need... Oh, they fixed that. Alright. Now, we did mess up. And we did accidentally leave the marker on the back of the train. So we gotta go get it. Alright, so let's go get that. And let's update the count because that's a very much a skill issue. You're not supposed to leave the marker on the train. The exception being if it's recrewed. Oh, turn that off. if it's being recrewed, then obviously the marker has to stay with the train. All right. So let's go swing by the station office. See what jobs we've got coming out of here. See if they're going anywhere we want to go. We have cars going to the machine factory. We got scrap going to the steel mill. Oh, well, that sucks. Alright, so there's not a whole lot going out of here. Oh, well, you can load going to the... We can load for the steel mill. That might be what we work on. We might be making a steel run. Alright, so we can load, and then haul. So we can get both of those loaded, and then we can haul all 4 of them to the steel mill. That's not bad. But this is interesting because I haven't gotten anything that goes to the sawmill yet, so I haven't even been there. So that'll be a new one for me. But we're not doing that because if we're going to the steel mill, sawmill's way the hell over here. We're not doing that one. But we can take all this stuff to the steel mill and then all will be right in the world. And we're over the magical time. And it's almost 8 o'clock at night. So it's about time for me to like start watching like YouTube videos and getting ready for bed. Because honestly, I have no idea. I know I will be available for call 9 something in the morning, so it's not like urgent that I go to sleep right now. But with how last week went, or how this past week went, it might be a busy weekend. So I might get called exactly when I'm available. But the other thing is, I finally am getting my brake stick tomorrow. That's a whole thing that I can fill in if anybody cares to ask in the future. So, as a bit of a recap of what we have accomplished in this stream, we built a rather small train from the harbor. We brought some diesel to City Southwest, and we brought empty auto racks to the machine factory. We just got done refueling. Still don't have enough for any licenses, but we doubled up on flashlights. It's like doubled up on flashlights and lanterns. So yeah, double up on flashlights and lanterns. Lit them all. So now I have an extra lantern, an extra marker. Basically, we're set. We're doing good. So I don't definitively know when the next time that I will stream will be. It could be the next time that I have off days. Or it could be someday when I haven't been called for a little while. But that's generally only if it slows down. So for the most part, I only stream on my rest days. And then when I stream, I don't even have any way of guaranteeing what I'll feel like streaming that particular day. But in any regard, this seems like as good of a stopping point as any. So, this has been Derail Valley Simulator. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully, you have a nice day. Yes, one day I can play VTOL again. I have it installed on my new computer. I played it like once, but I haven't gotten into it. Or I haven't played it recently. Oh, and I absolutely have streamed VTOL before. I even have my own level. Or I have my own, I have my own level and 2 missions. I haven't played it for a little while, but it is installed on this computer. I have everything set up to do it. I just have to feel like it. Honestly, like when I get off of work, I just don't feel like doing anything anymore. So I just end up sitting in my office and watching YouTube videos. Last time I streamed Stormworks. Today I decided to stream Derail Valley. I was thinking about doing Hitman. I have things I can stream, but you just have to want to do it. The railroad's a little rough. It would be a hard sell if it didn't pay so well. But in any regard, I am going to call it a day here. So, as I said, thank you all for watching. Hopefully, you have a nice day. Oh shit, I need a... God damn it. Before we do that, I gotta walk over and I gotta get something for a thumbnail. Hold that thought. Damn it. Almost messed up the whole fucking thing. Alright. Not exactly perfect, but it be like that sometimes. Alright. Now we have something for if it hasn't been caught by the freaking copyright filter for having music in Streamlabs, even though I have an account registered with them. It's a whole thing. It's weird. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. But in any regard, as I said, hopefully you have a nice day.